Hello, and welcome to Gray Matter, a video blog sponsored by Come and Reason Ministries. I'm Dr. Tim Jennings. As a Christian physician and scientist, one who forms beliefs based on objective evidence, evidence that is testable and reproducible, while remaining open to modify those beliefs as more evidence becomes available, I am struck by the level of non-evidence-based thinking and believing rife within both religious and scientific communities. There are many well-meaning Christians who have innocently promoted the idea that faith is believing without evidence, and therefore it is not surprising to find certain resistance among Christians to evidence-based thinking. But I have been dismayed and disappointed by the practice of blind, non-thinking faith within the scientific community, since the scientific community purports to base its beliefs upon testable evidence. I suspect the majority of scientists, when asked which is more scientific, based on testable evidence, a godless theory of origins, often called the Big Bang, or creation by an intelligent designer, most would confidently state the godless theory, the Big Bang. But how many of those same scientists would be willing to allow their beliefs to be subjected to testable evidence? If we are scientific followers of testable evidence, we don't fear examining our ideas in light of evidence. So let's test these two competing theories and see which is consistent with reproducible, testable evidence. Neither theory can be directly tested, i.e. go back in time at the point of creation and observe it. Therefore, we're relegated to testing the premises upon which both theories rest. Let's examine the premises each theory is built upon and find out which is more scientific. Big Bang states something came from nothing. Science cannot demonstrate something coming from nothing. Creation states something came from something else. This is demonstrated to be true in everyday life. Big Bang states life came from non-living matter all on its own. Science actually disproved this more than a century ago, yet evolutionists still claim this is how life originated. Creation states life came from some other living organism. The entire planet Earth demonstrates this to be true every day. Big Bang states that complexity comes from chaos all on its own without any intelligent input. Science has also proven this to be false. In fact, things tend toward disorder in harmony with the second law of thermodynamics. Nothing becomes more ordered without intelligent input. Creation states complexity comes from chaos with intelligent input, and this again is proven in everyday life. Big Bang postulates random mutations in the DNA code adds vitality and genetic fitness, causing the species to improve over time. Creation states that random mutations damage the DNA, reducing fitness and degrading a species over time. Science again has proven that with every generation, a minimum of 1,000 new damaging mutations occur in the human DNA, and there has not been one mutation that has added fitness to the species. Rather than evolving to higher and more fit states of existence, we are slowly degrading, just as the creation model teaches. Big Bang states natural selection can select out the organisms with the damaging mutations, leaving the next generation more fit than the generation before. Creation states natural selection occurs selecting out the most damaged specimens. However, those that are left to reproduce are still less fit than the generation before. Science has proven the creation view is correct. Selection does occur, but every organism being selected to survive is already more degraded than the generation before. Finally, all living organisms require three divergent elements: matter, energy, and usable information, organized data. Consider as an analogy a computer, which is not a living organism. But for a computer to be operational, there needs to be three elements: hardware, which is physical matter, electricity, which is energy, and software, which is organized, usable information. Having only two of these three elements, the computer does not function. All living beings or organisms require the same. There must be physical matter, an energy source, and information which contains the base programming directing the functions and operations of the systems. The atoms which make up the amino acids in DNA molecules would be the physical matter. Energy would come from the various chemical reactions happening within our body, and the information is found encoded within the specific sequences in our DNA strands. Scientists who deny God focus their theories entirely upon the physical components of life, which are the building blocks of the living organisms, the DNA and the proteins and so forth. They ignore entirely the complex information stored within the DNA itself. Where did that information originate? The idea that living organisms and living beings originated on their own without any intelligent input would be similar to believing that a storm arose with high winds and rains and lightning, and over the course of millennia of years, eventually the rocks were worn down to form the 26 letters of the alphabet. This is an analogy to those who believe that random forces of nature in some chemical soup long, long ago with lightning strikes eventually formed the DNA molecules. But even if we accept that this happened, which is a big leap of blind faith, scientists still ignore the most critical aspect of what is required for life: the encoded information contained within the organized DNA sequences. Where did that information originate? Having an alphabet does not mean we have usable and functional information. To believe that random forces brought about life would require we not only believe that the alphabet formed all on its own in storms and chaotic energy strikes, but we would have to believe that the winds and the rains and the lightning strikes all on its own organized the letters into the entire Library of Congress. Yet this is exactly what millions of good-hearted, honest, thinking people do believe. So which theory is actually built upon testable, reproducible evidence and is in harmony with known laws? And which theory is demonstrated by the evidence to be inconsistent with testable evidence and known laws? I find it fascinating that creation and the creation model is actually founded upon scientific premises, beliefs, and evidences and supported by testable laws, whereas the evolutionary and Big Bang theory is founded upon blind faith, premises that are disproved by objective testing and reality. Yet many scientists refuse to follow the evidence and persist in proclaiming an evolutionary origins for the universe. Whether you are currently a creationist or an evolutionist, I challenge you to become an evidence-based thinker. There is nothing to fear in following the evidence, for all evidence, when rightly understood, will lead back to greater enlightenment, back to the source of all light and truth, back to our amazing Creator. For more free information, please visit our website, comeandreason.com.